for the training center. Noel Hughes just knocked it out of the park, doing a new video, appointment video, that's going to be on step 6. We should have that ready here in the next week or two. And we're recording a bunch of podcasts, so we're going to get back down there here in about 30 minutes. But until we do that, there we go. I feel like we're looking down. I guess we're looking at the people. Hang on a sec, guys. We're going to make an adjustment here. We got the whole studio set up here in the room. Let's see if we get that's a little better. There we go. All right, there we go. So go ahead and put in the chat any questions or challenges you have or have been having so that we can address those. And yay, thank you so much. Appreciate the all the kind words. We're super excited about the Integrity Partnership. That's a huge, huge deal. We've been working on it now for seems like 2 years. And finally got it across the finish line. Still some work to go, but it's official, as you saw. So thank you for all the congratulations. And man, we couldn't have done it without you guys that are on the coaching session here in this virtual platform. That's played a big role. Connor, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about, here we go. Hey, thank you so much. So what questions do you have about the virtual platform, be it the appointment? And let's focus mainly on the appointment today. We were talking about that in the while Noel was recording earlier. You know, one of the most important parts of the appointment itself is making sure you go through detailed questions during the needs analysis. And Connor, maybe point out what some of those key things the key things are that you need to make sure you hit during the needs analysis, whether it be for medical history or whatever the case may be. What are some of the things during the needs analysis people need to make sure they're hitting and not just glazing over?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, good morning, y'all. I was laughing. Rumbo's setup is legit, I promise. I know I've always sitting behind my desk wondering what he's got going on, and I feel like I need to get a tan, Rumbo.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at the side of my face. I feel like I'm getting sunburned.
But no, y'all, just like we talked about, again, you want to keep it simple, because when you try to do some perfect presentation, there's no such thing. And what I mean by that, again, is you have to get on and get to know the person and become friends with them, right? I talked about it last week. Get to know the person, collect the information, and then create the value. Now, the question on creating the value, again, you guys, the one thing you want to make sure you focus on, you do not need to know the underwriting, but you need to learn to ask the right questions when it relates to their health, all right? Make sure you're asking people any medications past 5-10 years, anything currently being prescribed, anything as needed. That will really help a lot of you on here, asking as needed medications. All right, make sure people know as well, anxiety meds are also prescribed medications. I know that sounds funny, but not to clients. And again, chat with them, get to know them, find out about those medications, any health problems. And then you go into where you're really going to create the value, which is going over income, right? If someone's retired, make sure that you break down the income. Don't just say, oh, well, I'm retired, I get $3,800 a month. Okay, what's the breakdown of it? For all of you on here, like VA disability, it's tax-free money for the veteran. Their spouse does not receive a penny of the VA disability, okay? But you want to itemize it. So, okay, Social Security, blah, blah, blah amount, pension, this amount. What's their survivorship on the pension? Go through those steps, all right? And then you're going to go through current insurance. And then once you go through those pieces, just like I've told a lot of you on here, a lot of you are, right, you're married or you have children, right? You have life experience. Put yourself in the position that the client's in and make it and recommend something you'd recommend to yourself if you were looking in the mirror trying to protect yourself. All right, that's the best piece of advice I can give you.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Just don't overcomplicate it. Again, get to know the people, find out what the problem is. Half the time they'll tell you right off the bat in the beginning, but just paint a photo for them. And again, just treat it like it's a friend of yours, or treat it like it's yourself. And like Scott, when I got married, it changed the way I talk to clients, because I'm like, okay, I understand now. I have a wife. This is what I need to do, blah, blah, blah. And then now that I have my son, again, different ballgame. Now, okay, now I understand the reason why it's important to take care of the loan for the kids, or et cetera. So just insert yourself into those situations. And again, you guys, just be genuine. Don't try to turn into a Noah Hughes. Mimic the process. Take it more as an outline, but just focus on being yourself and really getting to know the people.
Yeah, some really great points. Hey, Heather, let's do this. I think, what is that name there? It looks like Ediliza, possibly.
Ediliza?
let's bring her on and see if we can help her out. She says she's having problems, challenges getting people to sit down and go through the presentation. Okay, let's go. Let's unmute her.
Hi guys, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. So yeah, I'm just having trouble, like, cause most of my leads are C leads, and so they're old leads from like last year, and a lot of people like most of the responses that I'm getting is I'm not interested. We're not interested. We're not interested. And I try to like kind of like make them understand that I'm not trying to sell them anything. That's another thing. A lot of people think that I'm just there like trying to sell them something. Like they don't really know what is my reason for, like, so a lot of people will be like, oh, like, what is this for? We don't need this. I'm not interested. So it's basically me just I don't know how to get them to like understand, like, you know, what my purpose is and how, like, you know, how I can help them, like, you know, how to get them to sit down with me basically and go through the presentation.
Let me ask you this: are you calling or texting or both?
Both.
Okay. Are you getting most of the objections when you're calling them or texting?
Both.
And let me ask, what's your investment been in leads so far?
I just started, so the investment that I have is the beginning investment that Doug got for me.
Okay.
So I'm working with those leads at the moment.
Okay. So how many leads do you have?
I have, I believe, about 80.
Okay, about 80 leads.
Yeah.
Connor suggested.
Yeah. So 80 C leads then.
They're not all C. So I have a few B leads, but most of them are C leads, you know. And most of the people I'm just getting like not interested.
So here's the first thing I would tell you. So the reason why Rumbo is asking you about investment is because that's a very important piece. So here's why, you guys. I want everyone to hear this. If you have, and again, I know that it's a mix. If you have 80 C leads, okay, that'd be a $160 investment. All right. What you have to realize is on that $160, you should get roughly 1.5 applications. So what you have to realize is you're going to go through a lot of no's or not interested, and you want to get through those as quickly as possible. Because again, you have to realize the ratio for C leads, I always just say, is 1 out of 10. So that means you should book 8 appointments, right? And in 8, you should have 8 appointments. Say you sit with 6, you write 2 apps. So that's what you have to realize, though, is you're going to go through a lot of no's, and you need to get through them as quickly as possible. So don't take getting not, a lot of people on here, when you see a not interested, it puts you in a bad mental space. You don't need to feel like that. It's just, again, you want to get rid of it. You want to close out leads as quickly as you can to get to the people who want it. Now, what I would tell you on not interested, via text message, what I would do is I normally just call them. Now, if they don't answer, what I do is I message back and I would say, I think you may be confused. My job is to make sure that you receive the information. You're welcome to be not interested after you've received the information, right? Because for me, that's basically how I explain it. Hey, you're welcome to be not interested, but we haven't gone over anything yet. And then normally what I do as well is ask people, say, have you actually met with an agent? Have you actually gotten the information? Oh, I got the information. A lot of people think that's the mail that they get, the request that they send back. They think that's the information. Right. So it's really just talking through it. But for most people, you just have to get back to the point where, hey, I have to do my job. I just got to sign off that I went through the information with you. What time would you be available? But I think the most important thing, especially when you're new, is everything's not going to work 100% of the time. And just be real with people. Hey, did you actually receive the information? No, I didn't. Okay, well, my job's just to sign off that I went through with you. It took me 10 minutes. Call people, text them, but don't be, again, not interested just means you go to the next one. Close out that lead, go to the next. But it's all based on investment. And that's where it's difficult, because a lot of you on here, you put in $250 investment on leads, and you're working them for 3 weeks. And I don't know how some of you book enough appointments on that amount of leads for those many weeks. So just realize, again, take the ratios and realize, again, that means out of 80 C leads, you should close maybe 2 apps, which means 78 people are either never going to answer or say no. And that's what you want. So the trick is, how quickly can you get through the 78?
Does that help? I think we lost her. But yeah, so back to Connor's point is just know
Two. You take up to
out of
4.
10 multiples, so 60, you should write 1,600 in premium, which is like an app and a half. But the process when you're brand new, all of us went through the same thing. You're purchasing or investing in these older leads. It's just a sorting process. You're going through and getting all the no's. I'm not interested. It's out of the way. Took care of it. To find that 2 or 3 people that you'll go through the presentation with and write 1 to 1.5 apps out of that investment. Then when you up your investment to $500, then you should write 5,000 in premium, or an average of about 5 apps. So just know that you're going to go through that sorting process in the beginning. We all do. Until you get to that point, you say, I don't want to be on the phone going through all these, sorting all these leads. I'll start investing in new leads. So now I'm setting 3 out of every 4. So I'm setting 3 appointments for every 4 leads.
The way that I was kind of going about it was that I would just let's say if someone says not interested today, I'll leave them there. And then the next day I'll write them again. And I guess in my mind, I was thinking that I was going to be able to convince them somehow if I just kept trying to get them to sit down with me. If not today, then tomorrow or the day after or something, I wasn't kind of just moving on and closing that out.
I would, you want to message them back right when they send that. Because what normally happens is if you message them again, they're just going to block their numbers quickly. When they respond,
actually, I'm surprised a lot of people haven't blocked me.
Yeah, when they message not interested, here's the thing: they're engaged on it because they are reading it. So what I would do it quickly is again say, normally what I do is I say, have you received the information ? Or have you met with any of our agents? And I just make it broad, balloon statement. So then they'll go, oh yeah, I did meet with someone, or no, I didn't, right? Because normally on a BRC lead, they've been contacted a few times. But I find out who they've spoken with or if they've actually received it. And then I, again, take my job and make it very simple. Hey, my job is just to go through the information with you. You are welcome to be not interested after you receive the options. You're welcome to be not interested. And people go, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, if you can also try even sending, especially if it's a direct mail, they filled it out by hand. You can snap a pic of it and send it to them. Go, hey, you requested this information. It's just my job to go over the information with you so that we can get your file resolved. Otherwise, it's going to stay open. You can continue getting calls.
And use the thing too, Rumbo. I tell people, I go, hey, I just don't want to get in trouble with my boss. I just got to make sure I run through this real quick. Hey, I don't want to get in trouble at work. I just got to run through this with you, right?
Oh, how about this one? So after 3 texts and 3 calls, no contact, is the lead dead? No. It could be that they're at work. It could be that they're sick. It could be they're on vacation. Keep it in there, because what you'll find is you'll have some of those leads just like that are sitting in your stack, and 6 months later, all of a sudden, they respond. And it could have been, hey, I was deployed overseas, or there's a number of different things. Or the timing's just not right. And then 6 months from now, when you send them that text, they're thinking, wow, we just had to sell my parents' house because my dad passed away. My mom couldn't afford to stay in it. I need to get something in place for my family. So the timing wasn't right. So just keep them in there and keep them in your rotation. Because again, you could take that same, it's like for an A lead. It's sitting in the system unresolved, and it ultimately becomes a C lead, and then all of a sudden you sell it. It's because when it was an A or a B, it wasn't the right timing, they weren't available, something, and that's why it became a C. And then all of a sudden, we write a lot of business on the C lead. So keep it in there and just add fresh stuff to it every week. Add fresh stuff on top of your leads you invested last week. Otherwise, what you're going to do is you're beating up the same old leads. You're going through, you're getting frustrated, you're getting discouraged. Add fresh stuff in there. It just mentally, it puts you in a different place because you're thinking, at least I have a different number now. I've got different numbers to add to my ammo, but keep those in a stack and just keep rotating them. Because again, it may be somebody who's doing shift work. Maybe it's a firefighter who's on 24 or on 48, and they're just not responding at the time. And then you hit them 3 days later and they respond all of a sudden. So keep them in there. Great question. Okay, next one. Let's see here. So final expense B and C, D leads are the same as if you open up an actual lead. They're from 2019. Hey, here's what I would tell you. There are some, the final expense tab on Opt. I believe we were supposed to remove that so that those older leads aren't in there. Just make sure that when you get your leads, go to the life tab. It should be life only.
It changed. It's life only now.
Okay, yeah, so it's just life only. So what I would do is just make sure you add fresh stuff to it.
Reba, I'll hit on this real quick too.
Yeah.
All the leads, because I've seen from my group, people get B and C leads off of the Equus site. They're not from 2019. Now, if you get C or D leads, you're talking a 50 cent or a $2 lead. I mean, they can be older, but I've never seen a C lead from 2019. But being honest with y'all, honestly, having a little extra age, I always like C leads. And what y'all need to realize is people have been refinancing so much. Most of those people, I've been getting most of my clients for A leads. They were clients of mine from 2 or 3 years ago, people I met with, because people are refining. Here's what I would tell you. You're focusing too much on the time frame. I even had a new guy that started with me and he was so worried because leads were older. That doesn't mean anything. Run through the same process. You're going to have people respond to it.
Yeah, just know when you're new, until you get your investment up and you start getting brand new leads, which you should start getting brand new leads by your third week.
Mm-hmm.
First couple of weeks, you're going through the reps, you're getting 6 appointments a day, and you've got a few apps in the pipeline. Now you're getting paid. And then your third week, you start investing in new stuff. Because what you're doing when you invest in newer leads is you're buying time. You're not sitting there going through so many leads and getting all these, I'm not interested, already took care of it. You're buying time so that you're going, I'm getting my appointments set much faster now because now I'm setting 3 out of every 4 leads because they're brand new leads. And also on the record date on the mortgage protection lead, don't pay attention to that either if it says it's from 2 years ago, because here's what we do. Is we know when people first move in their house, a lot of times they're like, I'm just getting hammered with stuff, right? The lawn people, the insect people, all these people are just hammering me, including the mortgage protection people, so they don't do anything with it. Then what we could do is we'll go in at 1 year and 2 years and we'll remeld those, because now things have calmed down. They're not getting bombarded. They're settled in their house, and their record made that they recorded their mortgage maybe from 2 years ago, but it's a brand new lead because we just remelded it as a brand new lead because they didn't respond the first time. So just know that's a strategy in there. Don't, as Connor said, don't get hung up on that date part of it, because it is the record date. Many people think that's when the lead was originally generated, was 2 years ago. That's actually the record date it was recorded, and we just melded it and got a brand new lead back from it. Okay, next one. Keep the questions coming. Can you please repeat the not interested? Connor just hit that a second ago. Again, so hopefully we address that for you. What's the ratio for the A1 leads? So the A1 leads are a brand new category. We've only had them out for about 2 weeks now. But I would say on the A1s, let's say this. If a B lead is, you should set 1 out of every 6 on the B lead. I would say on the A1s, you should really set 1 out of every probably 4 or so.
3 to 4.
3 to 4, mm-hmm. Yeah. So we don't have the numbers, the hard numbers in on those yet. We're still gathering data on that because it's a brand new category. But I would say 1 out of every 3 or 4, you should start setting those. Okay, next one. Let's see. If we mark it as not interested in opt, still go down the journey as C or a D lead. Yeah, if you put not interested, here's what will happen again. You'll have people on a brand new A lead that goes, I'm not interested. Well, it's not resolved yet, meaning we haven't written an app on it, so it stays in the system. Here's what happens. You get it as an A1 or as a B lead, and you end up writing it because when they first moved in, again, it may be that they're going, hey, I'm not interested. I'm getting hammered with all this stuff. But now that things have calmed down, and now that thing became a B or C lead, now I'm interested because now I need to take a look at this because, again, I didn't even pay attention to it when it first came in. I just I'm not interested because everyone's bombarding me. So, yeah, it continues down the journey until it ages itself out. And again, that's how we generate the B's and C leads that we still write business on. Because in the beginning, it's either we didn't contact them, no one originally purchased it as a brand new lead, or they said, I'm not interested, and it just aged. So it's still an opportunity, and we write a ton of business on them. Okay. Let's see. If you only have 100 to 200 to invest, is it worth it to get only a few A or B leads? or get more. So I would get as many as you can. You want as many shots as possible. So if you got a couple $100, I would get as many B and C leads as you can. So for $200, you can get 100 C leads.
Mm-hmm.
So get as many as possible so you have as many shots as possible. Again, it goes back to the investment. On a $200 investment, you should write 2 apps. Average premium that someone's going to pay over the course of a year is a little over $1,100. Let's call it $1,000. You should write $2,000 in premium. So you can invest 200, you should write 2,000 in premium. So it all goes back to the investment, but give yourself plenty of shots. Okay, how many texts should I send with no response before I start dialing the lead? Yep. So whenever you want, I would just dial it. If you send a couple texts and not responding, just dial it.
If you're not getting booked up by 1 o'clock, call them.
Yep.
Like daily. So if you guys send out all the texts and by 1 you're not booked up, you need to get on the phone. I did that the other day.
See, tell them what to do when it says confidential.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
When the lender says confidential, the funny part is most of my agents, when they're green, they just say, I'm calling in regards to your loan with confidential. Funniest thing in the world. But
there you go, Louis.
Easy. Just do the address. Hey, I was calling in regards to your mortgage over on the 123 Apple Street. And then in the text, just take out the lender and just put in the address. Quick fix.
Okay, what's the next one, Connor?
Well, if someone said not interested, I've read a couple of times, I will self-insure myself. So basically the question is, if someone says not interested, they've already been talked to a few times. And basically they're saying either I'm going to buy insurance somewhere else or I'm self-insuring. First thing I would tell you, you got to run through the numbers. Again, you're going to have people say not interested. Even on A leads at 1063, it means 4 people are not going to say yes. Okay. Right off the bat to even booking an appointment. What I would tell you, activity will beat that. But again, just be real with them. Ask them, so they did meet with an agent. Okay, well, what happened with that? Because I know you were looking to cover your mortgage. Who did you meet with? What option did they show you? I would get them on the phone. A lot of the times to you guys, just like how we're really big on critical time period, they probably talk to an agent. Normally, this is people that are older because they also send in the most forms. They'll say, oh, it was too expensive. And it's because some agent tried to show them 100,000 in coverage and they're 68 and it was 280 a month. You just have to talk to them and be realistic. Hey, again, my job is just to go through the information with you. I know you've been down this road a few times. I just got to do my job and close this out. What time would you be free? Hey, last time I'll close it out so you're not getting bugged by me anymore. What time would work for you? Hey, I know you talked to some other people, but you didn't talk to me. Let me close this out for you. I mean, there's a million variations of it, but you have to learn that's not saying no. That's responding. And that's the funny part is, and what I would tell you is, again, is you don't have to be a pest. And when people are not interested, again, I would do what I've said a couple times now, but it's part of the process too. A lot of you on here, you get a not interested and you feel like you did something wrong. You did nothing wrong, right? You have to get the not interested people to get the interested ones. But make sure with those, you respond back quickly. And again, my job, I just got to close this out. Have you actually received the information? Just take me 10 minutes. What time would work for you? Just be quick with it.
Yep. Good one. Okay, guys, keep them coming. We got a couple more minutes here. A lead ratios, you should, out of 10 A leads, you should set 6 appointments, write 3 apps.
Yep.
So 3 out of 4. How do you classify a lead as dead and delete it? So again, I think it goes back to the previous what we talked about. A lot of times we may think a brand new lead is a dead lead. If it hadn't had an app written on it, we leave it in the system because again, it's just that they're not interested at that time. Bad timing, I'm getting bombarded, even if it's a C lead. Bad timing, it'll age out after a C lead, but that's why a B becomes a C. You're gonna, as B leads, you guys know, you're gonna get people say, I'm not interested. Well, it becomes a C lead, and all of a sudden someone writes an app on it because it just wasn't good timing for the people at the time. You hit them at the wrong time. So, and in terms of opt, I mean, Connor, do you go like manage your stuff in opt? Like,
I'm too busy to do that. I have too many leads coming in.
What do they call that when they reconcile it or something?
I've seen it. People go in and put that. Y'all, you need to be too busy to even do that. You need to make yourself busy enough where, I mean, at the end of the day, when you get the lead, if you don't sell it, again, somebody else will. I mean, That's what's hard is even for me is it's like, man, if I don't write it, like there's still business behind me in my areas. Again, a lot of these lead questions, y'all, the problem is a lot of you, and trust me, I did it when I started. A lot of you on here are trying to find a shortcut for leads. You're basically saying, hey, I don't want to spend the $500 or I'm too scared to invest $1,000 full time. You have to get there, and there's no shortcuts. And you can say, oh, well, if I do A1 leads, but now I'm still only going to invest $200. Again, it's all based on the dollar figure. We need to get you to $1,000 to $1,500 a week in leads when you're full time. And like, I forget what the lady's name was, when you only have $200 to invest. I get that. When I started, my first investment was $280. What I would tell you though, if you're full time, okay, I would jump in my car and do some Uber Eats to get some extra cash to buy leads. And I think that you have to be that intense about it.
Yeah.
I was just telling Scott today, one thing that's tough for new agents, what you have to realize, because I know a lot of you feel like this, you'll buy your leads and you're like, I should write 5 apps on this. And then you only get 1 or 2, or you don't get what you want. You have to realize you have to create that skill set, because 5 apps is $2,500 minimum in cash.
Mm-hmm.
And that's $100,000. I mean, that's a 6-figure income. And the question is, do you have a 6-figure skill set? No, you have to create it. So realize as well, like in the beginning, I mean, you have to outwork the Nick Burns, the Noel Hughes. You need to work more than them. They already have the skill set. You don't. But be intense about it. You need $500 investment when you're new. And if you don't have it, you need to go get it. I don't care if it's shoveling a driveway or doing some Uber Eats or what it is, but you can find the cash. It's an investment into yourself, into your business. There's sacrifices with time, but I know a lot of you on here, if you can only invest $200 a week, you do not have 24 appointments. You're doing a lot of sitting around watching Netflix. So instead of watching Netflix, go get an Uber account, go do something, go make that extra money to pay for the leads. Because sitting around texting the same leads week after week is not going to do it. So go out, garage sale, whatever you have to do. You need $500 investment when you start. And if you go, Connor, well, I don't have it. Well, go find it, right? We live in a generation where there's so much. I mean, the transfer of money is insane, right? Money's everywhere. I just saw a jobs report that there's more jobs available now than people looking for work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So again, you own a business. You are not an employee. You have to find the money, but you need $500. That's where you're going to have success. My young guy, you guys, Brennan, I'll finish on this. He's 18. He just put in a lead order for another 20 A leads a week. He's trying to get 40 A leads a week. He's 18. It's because he realizes how the ratios work. And again, he did not start with some big investment, but it was $500.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Garage sale, Facebook garage sale, I would say the same thing. Whatever you have to do to get $500 together, because here's what that should result in: 5 apps. I want to put myself in a position to get myself 5 apps, because then I'm going to make some good money. I'm going to make $2,500, right? Minimally. So I would do whatever you have. Like, you guys have heard our story. We sold stuff on Facebook garage sale. Kimberly sold stuff in the driveway. Whatever it takes. She was selling some stuff on this new Poshmark or something the other day, some jeans or something like that. And she was selling, because, I mean, why not? There's money hanging in the closet. Just go sell it. You can replace it later. We had to replace all our furniture. Just go do what you have to do to get yourself in a position to get yourself 5 apps. And that's a $500 investment in leads. So you got enough shots. Again, it's not about the lead type or the number of leads. It's about the investment. So take that investment, get as many leads as you can in the beginning, so you get those reps in Connor's talking about, you get the experience, and hurry through it. Okay, guys, we got to get down and go do a recording for your training center. We got some great stuff coming to you in phase 2 of the training center. Thank you guys for being on. We'll be on again tomorrow, even though we're going to be at the showcase. I think there's like 700 people coming. It's standing room only for what I heard in the overflow room. But we're going to walk out of there and do the coaching session tomorrow. Y'all don't follow us out, though. If you're in there, don't follow us out. I don't want Barry to go, where'd everyone go all of a sudden? So be sure to be on tomorrow. Be on live. If you're at the showcase tomorrow, be in the meeting, because there's some really incredible stuff. We may have to sneak out tomorrow. Okay, guys, have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
See y'all.